Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Convention Confessional. My name is Katy Hunt, and I'm here to guide you through the good, the bad, and the ugly of the convention world, and sometimes I do that with a little help from my friends. And today I have dragged in a blast from the past, friends-wise. We just haven't seen each other in many moons because somebody moved to Florida, but that's okay. Courtney's here today. Hi, Courtney.
Hi. I'm
How
sorry
are you?
Florida's so far away and awful.
Yeah, right. God, Florida. Ugh.
Ugh, jobs and cheaper living. Who
Hey, I
needs it?
mean, you went to Disney and now you work for the mouse, so I mean,
Yeah,
putting boats in the ocean.
exactly. It is what it is. We're here. I'll
We're
visit home
here.
eventually.
We're here. So now Courtney, we'd known each other for many years in the New England circuit of things. There's a bit of an age gap. We were just talking about like the age gap thing a moment ago, as far as where you fall into conventions, which I think is hilarious. Where you're just like you've now hit a point, and we were just talking about it. You've hit a point where you're like, wow, like everything is like this anime, and this anime, and yeah.
Yeah, I'm hitting the old mark now. Just like I guess everybody before me, we all come to that. But yeah, I didn't really think about how it is very generational where this is the popular one, so all the content's going to be based on that. And like you
Mhm.
had said in our earlier conversation, things like Hitalia, Oron, all of that. And it's just
Night
like,
Vale,
oh
all of it.
no.
They all had their time.
Oh God.
Like, yes, how many JoJo Bizarre Adventures can we have in panels? Like, how many panels of that? Or
Well,
Mob Psycho now, too, I feel like is getting
oh
big.
yeah. And I mean JoJo's been around since what, like the 80s? So it's like, we can do this for a while. It's fine. Every generation gets a JoJo.
Yep. Yup. For
Ugh,
everyone.
for everyone.
Um, so yeah, Courtney, I think we should start this off by how we met.
Oh God. So, I don't know if we're naming con names, but I know for the sake of the story I'll tell later. I'm redacting. But yeah, so we met at a smaller con in the New England area.
The New Hampshire convention.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh gosh. I was looking at my badges the other day. I think I messaged it to you 2007 or 8. Oh God. And yeah, it was that tiny con, and you were emceeing, and I don't even remember like the interaction, but I just thought you were so cool. And I don't know if you remember this, but a friend of mine from high school, we had made like back in the early days of Facebook, we made a fan page for you.
Oh, I remember.
The cringe.
Oh no, I remember.
No, that's fine. I'm not
Yeah, there was
embarrassed
a
enough.
fan page.
You're just so
And then
cool,
what's
man.
more concerning about it, it wasn't just like you and your friend, it was like a good amount of people.
I mean, because you're the best,
Yeah.
obviously.
No.
Shh, shh.
Oh.
We can't all
I,
be
I
cool.
it was funny too because my friends they like found out about it because it comes up in like the Facebook groups like pages that you might be interested in, and I just remember my friends just being like, Katie, do you realize that this is a thing here? And I'm like, yep, sure am moderator for it. And they're like, and then they like think that I started this group. Like, how vain can you be? I'm like, no, I did not start this group. I am just in there to make sure things don't get out of control.
A bunch of teeny boppers going crazy because early days of Facebook were cringe. It's
They're
fine.
wild. They were crazy. Was there a MySpace version of it too? I want to say there was like at least a MySpace version of it for like 20 seconds while MySpace was still relevant.
I know I didn't do it because I didn't really have a MySpace, but man, I would not be surprised.
Like I remember it being on one or two platforms. And like I said,
Yeah.
MySpace, like here we go, talk about dating ourselves. MySpace wasn't around that much longer afterwards.
Hmm.
I was like, oh my god, yeah.
Yeah. This
And
was
for
the
for
early
the most part, it
days.
was all innocent and funny, and it was fine. And it's just
Yeah.
one of those things where you're just like, why?
Yeah, back in the days where there were like weird Facebook pages like this, if you put a spoon under your pillow to try to get snow days or something just stupid. There were
Hmm.
so many pages like that. I probably
Hmm.
still have a bunch of them on follow that I just haven't deleted after 12 plus years because there's so many and I'm just like I don't have the energy for this. Just tacky things, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh no, I think I finally cleared all of mine out because every once in a while one will pop up because somebody decides to post in it. I'm just like, oh, I thought you were dead.
Bye. Yeah.
Bye.
Oh gosh.
uh,
Oh
but yes,
god.
we did. We met at the New Hampshire convention and other conventions along the way as well. We would see each other and say
The
hi.
community, yeah, the community back home is very cool. I have so many friends that I've made that are like lifelong friends, even though we've like moved a bunch of us in different directions. We still connect via social media, and that's really nice to have. Like, it makes me good. Yep, makes me good. Makes me feel good to see everybody, um, you know, thriving or trying to, and just know that I still have those memories with people and I don't feel like I get that down here in Florida. I mean, I do have friends, but I don't know. It's weird going to cons down here and not seeing all those like regulars that I used to. But what can you do?
Yeah. No,
Go
I
home.
mean, yeah, you make your own little cliques and stuff at conventions and things. Absolutely.
Hmm.
What do you mean, like different though? Like, what's the vibe? Tell me the vibe.
Oh gosh, I don't know. It's definitely it's different depending on which con you go to. So,
Sure.
oh, a big thing, a big thing that threw me for a loop for several years. There's a con that I frequent in the like springtime, maybe early summer. I'm horrible with dates. Um, Usually I help run bits of the fashion track as part of the Lolita fashion community, so I don't get to see a whole lot because I'm usually working. But they have an event called the Masquerade, and it is not
I
our
think I know what a
masquerade.
masquerade is. Yes.
It's not like ours, and I don't like that. It took me a long time to really understand what it is. I still haven't done it, but essentially it's kind of like LARPing with a masquerade ball in it, like in the
What?
mix. Yeah, so it's they have like a storyline and the cast will go out and interact with people and act out this storyline and interact with people in their characters, and there will be like intermittent ballroom dancing. And I'm like, okay, this sounds kind of cool, but I'm like, that's not. I guess it's a masquerade, but it's not
So they
my
have like a
masquerade.
masquerade ball. They don't have like a costume contest.
I'm sure there is a costume contest. I just never see it. But they don't do, as far as I know, they don't do like the skits and walk-ons. I can't remember the last time I've seen a thing with like skits, and that makes me so sad because that was always my favorite part, of cons back home. Um, Now, the con I usually do in the winter around the holidays is interesting. It's jam packed like a can of sardines. And they do have a costume contest, but I'm pretty sure it's just like a competition costume contest, judging based on your technical skill and whatnot, which is
Sure,
great.
sure.
It's great. But again, I want my skits. I want to see the fun things. Remember when people did like all those dance fighting skits? Oh my god,
Yeah.
that was the time, man.
Oh yeah. I mean, the skit that we did for Dead Moon Circus was considered a dance fighting skit, kind of. It
That
was
does
a
sound
Dead Moon
super familiar.
Circus.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was
yeah.
a blue one.
That does sound super familiar, but honestly, my brain can't keep a track of things from last week. So we're going to say, yes, I remember vaguely. We're going from there.
But yeah, I mean, I know what you're saying. Like, it was like a big thing for a while. Like, for a couple years between 2008 and like 2012, it was like the big dance battle skits.
They were amazing. Like the coordination people came up with was insane. And I mean, even on the smaller stage that we had back in the New Hampshire con, people were killing it. And I'm like, damn, I want to be
Yeah.
cool like that.
Oh, I know. It's like I said, there's like some, and the same with every convention. There were some skits where you're just like, wow, that was really awesome. And then there were some skits where you're just like, well, you tried.
Yeah.
You
Or
had an idea and you went for it. And you know what? Honestly, doesn't matter. Like, I appreciate everyone for getting up on that stage and doing something. Like,
right.
it takes balls.
Yeah, because I was like, I could never. Like,
Right.
nope.
It's like, yeah, are all skits like the same? No, because if they were all the same, then it would be really hard to judge things.
True.
And like no kid is created equal, but honestly, like I said, anybody that gets up on a stage and competes, regardless of like what the outcome is for you, like you had the balls to go and do it, and the respect level is like way up there.
Way, yeah, super high. Because, like I said, I could never.
It's
Um,
fun though. The problem is like everyone's like, oh my god, I'm so scared to do it, and then they do it one time, and it's like a drug. It is. I swear to God. It's, I mean, well, I said so much like the competing part of it, but like the hosting part of it, again, like you
Mm.
do it one time, you get that rush of being on stage, and the next thing you know, it's just like, yeah,
Yes, I do this now.
yes, I do this now. I'm stuck here now. I can't get away from this.
Well, it's a good career to have under your belt, at least for you, I think. You kill it.
Hosting conventions, yes, it's on the
Hosting, yes.
resume.
If it's not, it really should be.
Can stand in front of thousands of people and talk pretty. Got it.
Yeah, see, exactly. You got it. Keep
Although
thousands entertained.
some days can't keep talking pretty. Like, do not talk pretty very often.
Yeah, do not words good pretty
Do
much
not
ever.
words good very often. No.
Me.
So you said you were coming with a horror story, and I'm interested. I'm intrigued. It's
Oh,
October. We love a horror story.
we love horror stories. Okay, so I'm going to preface this with I haven't actually talked about this like publicly. I've talked shit with friends about it and kind of gone over the rigmarole with them, but I've never actually publicly told the story. And like I said earlier, I'm going to redact a lot of names just because I don't want to start fires. But yeah, so it wasn't a full convention, it was an event. And it was an event for Lolita fashion. And for anybody who doesn't know Lolita fashion, it was a lot more popular back in the earlier days. But it's a Japanese fashion that was based on kind of Rococo France style, so big poofy skirts, um, being more modest looking, hyper femininity, stuff like that. For preface, also, it has nothing to do with the book. Just going to put that out there. A lot of people get that connotation. We're trying to kill it. It's been years of trying to kill it. We trying.
We try.
So basically, this was a 1 day event that was happening in my local community, and I had been to a larger event um, a couple years prior, and so I was like, that was super fun. I really want to get into that. Let me volunteer and see how I can help make this awesome for everybody. And that was the first mistake.
Mistake. Yep.
um, so I volunteer, and as the months of planning go by, we get a lot of special guests, international special guests too, that are big within the community. Like
Hmm.
we had a social media, I guess influencer would be the term now.
Sure.
We had a designer from a very large, very popular Lolita brand. We had
Hmm.
same for a wig company, and then a bunch of like local vendors that kind of fit the kawaii style.
Yeah.
And so that was fun. And there, like I said, there was a lot of promotion based on the fact that these big names were going to be there for this one time event. And because of that, the ticket prices were kind of steep. So something you would pay for like a 3 day con, kind of
What?
steep. Yeah. Um, I mean, maybe not a 3 day con nowadays where you're seeing like $90 a ticket, but
Okay.
like,
Okay.
but
But
like,
still, like 60 something bucks.
yeah. Now I didn't pay obviously because I was a volunteer, but so so we're planning, and I end up being the handler, I guess liaison for the social media guest. And I'm like, okay, this is going to be cool. I know some of the technical aspects of what they do, so I think I can be a really good help. It'll be fun. Um, so before she comes, I I reach out to her via her business email, and I'm like, "Hey, I'm going to be your liaison for the event. I'm really excited to get to know you. I do hand embroidery, so I would love to make you a thing based on this character series I know you love. Let me know who you want me to do." Cool. And I go a while without hearing back from her, and I'm like, "That's fine. She's busy." And
She's
then
a bitch. You don't even have to finish the story. She's a bitch.
well, okay. She didn't.
How does she know?
So at the time, no. But I have
Mm.
heard that over the past few years, that did kind of creep up. Regardless, um,
Mhm.
so she messages me a couple weeks before the event and was like, "Hey, thank you so much. That's so sweet. It's this character, blah blah blah. And do you have any way to contact the event coordinator because I still don't have the information for my flights. And this was like 2 weeks before the event. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, this girl doesn't even know how she's getting here. Are you kidding me?
But also, why did she wait till 2 weeks before to say something?
I guess she had been reaching out for a while to the
Okay.
actual
Okay.
coordinator and just was being ghosted. So it's like, cool.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So that's one thing. And so I was like, haha, I was messaging in our group chats, messaging her privately, and I was like, hey, can you get this info out to our guest so she can be here? You
Yeah.
know, one
Right.
of our biggest advertising things is that she's going to be here. So she
Right.
kind of needs to be. Um, so that was a thing. Um, but skipping forward, um, the event comes up. And the night before, we are told by the event coordinator, okay, we need everybody here. I think it was by like 7 or 8 a.m. And the event wasn't supposed to start until like 11 or 12. I think it was 11.
Okay.
So we were told, okay, get here by 7 or 8 a.m. so we can get setting up, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay. So my roommate at the time, who's actually another cosplayer from back home, he used to win awards back at that New Hampshire con.
Oh.
Yeah. Do you remember the cosplayer who did Raguna from Rune Factory?
Oh
Yeah, that's my
yeah.
boy.
Ah.
Um, Small world. But so we were living together, and he was like, "Yeah, this is something you're passionate about. I'll come and help out as well." I was like, "Cool." So we get there, and there's a few other people around. And I go, "Hey, I'm Courtney, blah, blah, blah. We're here for volunteers." And the girl I go up to is like, "Oh, I'm not the coordinator. I'm another volunteer too." Because she had been dictating things, and I was like, "Oh, that's got to be her." Okay,
Nope.
guess not. There's tables everywhere. Like some of the special guests are trying to set up their stuff, and they're like, "Where do we put things?" And we're like, "I don't know. I have no clue." Um, and little by little, things start showing up with other like volunteers, like bins of food and things of that nature. And we're like, okay, who's the coordinator? I haven't seen her face, so I don't know who dis. Um, and they're like, oh, she's still on her way. She's still on her way, and I'm like, okay, we're getting closer. So we're getting it dictated like what to do via like Facebook chat.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, we're told to set up tables in the hallway. It's going to be like a little socializing area. And now we have totes basically of the snacks we're supposed to put out.
Snacks.
This is again a high price ticketed event that's supposed to be like high class, elegant. We have a very nice venue that's like very old, very bougie. Um so elegance is the idea. And
Sure.
we have to set this up with like dollar store tablecloths on
Woohoo!
on these tables and fill bowls and like tea trays and cheap plastic plates with like Starburst and Oreos and just random generic sweets that you could buy anywhere. And like
Because apparently we didn't get a bakery sponsor.
apparently, but it's like that would be the thing you would think. But also like for example, macarons are very popular in Lolita circles, I guess. It's
Mm-hmm.
fancy. They are tasty, but they're bougie fancy for Lolitas. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure people were expecting something of that kind of caliber, and they got Starburst on a plate. So,
Woohoo!
so we start to have guests arrive, and that little hallway is filling up. People are mingling, and basically they're like, "All right, when are the doors gonna open?" It's supposed to open at 11, and 11 comes, and the coordinator is still not there.
Interesting.
Yeah, and we're just like panicking, like we are supposed to open the doors. Like what do we do? She shows up and at phew, like 12:30 or something like that. It's like,
But
cool. Yeah. It's like you're running all of this. What? We had to be here at like 8 a.m. when you're just getting here at 12:30? Come on. So Eventually we end up letting people in, and honestly my mind is a blur for this little blank bit because I was assisting my social media guest. And at one point the coordinator comes up to me and is like, "Hey, we're ready for so and so to, get ready to MC for the fashion show." And I'm like, "Okay." So I go and tell her, and she was like, "What?" Like, I wasn't told that I was going to be MCing this fashion show. Um, Another important detail was this is this person's very first time being a guest at any event ever. So I don't think she had a contract written up, but it essentially wasn't discussed that she was going to be MCing. And she was also getting over laryngitis, so she's like, "Cool, awesome." I don't even like. I don't know what to do. I know one of these designers that's here. I don't have anything prepared. All right, we doing it live. So she does it live, and then after the fashion show, because there was some issues with that as well backstage, that
No.
there was, I swear. I don't even know 100% what they were, but there was a couple of our locals who had like VIP tickets, and they basically spent their time backstage helping models get ready.
Well, that's crazy. Everything else was going so well.
Oh yeah, cuz so well.
So
um
well.
and like, so these were two of our local girls, but we had a bunch of guests from out of state too. So it's like, oh, God, this was like promoted very far and wide. This was like huge. Not great. Not going well.
No, not
Um,
good.
so the fashion show wraps up, and the designs are great. Like I said, the international designer came up, said a few words, and was awesome and super nice, wonderful lady. Um, and then after the fashion show, everybody's essentially ushered out back into the hallway so that we can rearrange all of the tables to set up for the tea party. And it gets worse from here.
What? No. How?
Oh god. So this was set to be a catered event, quote
Oh
unquote.
no.
Catered. And so we're getting everything set up again with like cheap tablecloths and mismatch teacups and tableware, and that's fine. They're still like nice teacups, not like paper cups, so it's something.
Sure.
Except the water situation for said tea and the getting the tea was a disaster. There wasn't like steeped pots or anything. There were tea bags on a table for you to take,
Oh.
and I can't think of what they are. It's like a water cooler, but not a water cooler. It's for hot drinks, you know, the thing.
Oh
Um,
God.
yeah, so there were a couple of those and a couple of pitchers that we had to fill, and there was like 80 people here, maybe more, and we had to keep taking these heavy containers down the service elevator to the kitchen on the basement level, fill them up with hot water, bring them back up, find a place to plug them in to like get it boiling, put it back on the table, and let people pour their water to steep bags of tea.
Oh my God. So like nothing really set up. It's just like,
No. It's
what, you didn't bring your own water?
oh my god, how horrible. And so it was very DIY, which is not the expectation that was set. Um and yet it still gets worse.
Oh God.
So
Like, not to interrupt your story, but the tea story reminds me of the Nefi tea story. I don't know if you've like, did you go to New England Fan Experience many
I
moons ago or no?
I did not, but I we got to interject. I got to hear this story.
Okay, so like, I mean, we've kind of told the story like back when we did our huge Nefi episode last year sometime, but
Mhm.
like the long story short, like the too long didn't read basically, like they wanted us to do a host club tea party at
Okay.
this convention, and again charge people to come to this tea party because that's what they do. They usually have like a little bit of a fee at these tea parties just to help,
Mhm.
the con pay for food and tea or whatever. And we
Ooh.
get to the room and we had a conference room and had absolutely nothing. They had not arranged with the hotel to provide anything.
Oh my god.
So we went up to our hotel rooms and stole the coffee pots
Oh my god.
and like line them up on a counter and plug them in. And then we had brought, you bring convention snacks with you, like that you have in your hotel room. And we raided that and like broke everything up and put them out on at least platters the hotel gave to us. Cause they felt bad. It wasn't the hotel's fault by any means because they just hadn't been told. So of course, why would they prep for something they had not been told about?
Right.
So they definitely gave us like plates and stuff to like put out for these people. And you know what the sick part of it is? Is like it's not a Lolita event where it's just like you have a standard of things. It literally was just like, well, hope everyone's okay with this, and everyone was just so pumped that we were dressed like the host club from Alice in Wonderland episode.
That does sound cute.
It was cute, but it's just like none of them even realized like what was going on. They're like, oh my
What it
god,
was
this is
supposed
so
to be.
amazing, and we're just like, no, it's not though.
This is just everybody gathered together, matching cosplays, and you guys get to sit and look at us being pretty.
Yeah, like it was pretty ghetto. It was
But
pretty
like
bad.
same vibes here, honestly. It
Yeah.
but like so the fees were collected well before, of course, tickets weren't
Mhm.
sold at the door. So the coordinator had all of the money for all of these guests, and it could have been spent on these things that we needed, but
Right.
they weren't.
No.
So to make matters worse, we're trying to figure out food. And the catered food ends up being our local grocery stores, uh, like sandwich platters. Like, you know how you go to like a grocery store and they've got like, hey, this is the kind of sub we normally have, but it's broken up into like individual slices so that it can be served to a party.
Mhm.
It was a couple of those, and then those were handed out and plated with like, God, I don't even remember what for sides, but I know they were like cutting up like Hostess devil dogs and like portioning them out, cutting them in halves and handing
Listen,
them
at
to
least they
people.
had cake.
It, is that considered cake? It was,
It's still considered. We had granola bars, so you're still better than us. Okay.
but so yeah, that was quote unquote catered by this one local, I'll say entertainer who worked at a local nightclub that a lot of people frequent. Um, Except it came out later that this person has ties to being a neo Nazi.
What?
So this wasn't evident at the time, but yeah, it came out a couple years later. Like she likes to parade around in Nazi regalia. And this was the
Oh
person,
boy.
yeah, catering, quote unquote, for us. So they were handing out these plates, and people were like, Nani the fuck? Like, this is what our super expensive ticket was for? And like, just
Catered by Nazis.
catered by Nazis, and it's like a grocery store deli sandwich platter and a half of a hostess devil dog.
But like, no. The question is now, like, were you aware at the time of this person's like background before you realized they were catering this thing, or no?
No, I had no.
No.
This was my first time meeting her. I don't know if the coordinator had any inkling or any sort of idea about this. Um, but Jesus Christ. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, where did you
Yeah.
find these people? Like, I get they are local part people of like the like goth community actually, but like, wow.
Wow.
Yeah, that's like, what else can you say, man? Um,
People
so
must have loved that.
I, a lot of people were like, bro, do you remember when they served us deli sandwiches? That was a
Oh,
thing.
not just deli sandwiches though.
That was just
Side served with a side of like racism.
Honestly. But yeah, so that happened, and at that time, like, again, everything is running late and it's a disaster. And my roommate and I were starting to get the point of like, I feel really weak because I'm hungry, and we're backstage trying to talk with the coordinator, be like, hey, what's going on, like, can we take a break to go get food? And she was like, no, 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 um I'm gonna pay for your food. If you can just wait, like, I'm trying to figure some stuff out, and I will buy you lunch. And I was like, okay. So we wait for like 15 minutes, just waiting to see, and she's just like, I don't know, having a panic attack in the back, trying to delegate things. And I'm like, this girl's way in over her head. So my roommate and I were like, fuck this, let's just go outside, find a place. And literally next door there was a place that had like crepes and like Turkish coffee or something, and we were like, that's it, let's go. That's all we need. Um so we took an hour and just like ate, and we're like, this is not going to get any better, is it?
Nope.
God no. And
No, as
then
long as it starts off that strongly bad, it's not going to get better.
absolutely not. And so after a little bit we go back up, and the tea party's done. Everything's like broken down, I guess. And the next phase of this event is supposed to be quote unquote panels. And this is just everything is in a big auditorium. So they put up like curtain dividers to have like little sections, little squares where people are all giving panels on at the same time.
Uh huh.
And there's also in the other corner like a little vendors market where there's a bunch of tables of people selling their wares, and it's just
Wait,
so,
everybody that's doing a panel is in the same room doing their panels at the same time?
yes,
What?
as well as people selling their goods.
Mm, mm. But that must have been so loud.
Oh yeah, it was. So I was like, what do? So I'm like, I'm just gonna stick my head down. I'm gonna stick with my guest. She was like, we're just gonna shoot some B-roll, um, go up, talk to people, do some mini interviews or something. And I was like, all right, cool. Just keep me distracted from whatever the hell's going on. And then that all, I don't know if it really winded down or things finished or if it just fizzled out because it was so messy. Um, but we eventually get to the point where everybody is gathered into this one kind of corner of the auditorium where there's a bunch of chairs set up, and we're doing a raffle. And so, first thing is, our international designer guest had brought a massive box of like clear files, like the little like kawaii little folders.
Sure, sure.
Um, and inside of them were like a copy of her catalog and like a mini comic and stickers. And she brought enough for all of the attendees. It was awesome. And the host, the coordinator, is
Uh
sitting
huh.
there like having a panic attack and like raffling them off, and it's like, but why? Because there's enough for everybody. She legitimately just brought one at least for everybody. There's so many. Why are you doing this? Um a a one of a kind dress was raffled. There was
Hmm.
just a variety of things from the guests that had come, and it was very
Right, like
nice.
donated items.
Yeah, and a lot of people were getting mad because this one person kept winning a bunch of stuff, but it's like she bought a ton of raffle tickets. That's how raffles work.
Right.
People were getting so mad, and it's like, calm down. Like, learn how things work. But it stretched out to like an hour, and my roommate had to go up to her and be like, we got to be out of here soon. Like, you got to wrap this up. Just start handing them out because that's what they're there for.
Right.
Oh, um, and the rest is kind of a blur. Um, but the follow up after that is, I guess, after the event, like the day after, the coordinator and some other volunteers and friends of theirs, I guess, went to dinner. And my special guest was there, and she had to catch her flight, and the coordinator was supposed to like bring her to the airport, and they're just taking their sweet time, and she's like, I, I gotta go. Like, I have an international flight. I need to be able to go through customs. And she had done a whole thing on talking about this event on her Patreon, I think. Um, but basically, it got to the point where she basically threw down money to pay for her meal, called an Uber, left, and got to the airport with almost no time. Like, she had to throw money down at the luggage thing and be like, please take this on the plane. They couldn't guarantee it was going to make it on there in time. She got to the gate. They had just shut the doors and they made an exception to let her on the flight.
Jeez.
That bad. Poor girl. Um, and then the last thing I truly remember is that I got accused by the host person of posting this on Reddit and shit talking, and I'm apparently just a horrible, malicious person. Yeah, I've never posted anything on Reddit. I actually just like made a Reddit account a couple months ago to like browse a couple threads. I don't know diddly about it.
So she's a paranoid crazy bitch.
Oh, she's so crazy. But the after effect of that was she was put on like probation within the community, that she could not run any events that required the exchange of money. And she did it anyways, and
Mm.
then she got completely banned, and then she moved to the southern half of the state. Same thing happened, and then she moved to Georgia, where I hear she's still doing the tricks. The end.
So this is like a one-time event thing, and
It was a one-time event. Had so much hope that this was going to be something we'd be able to do reoccurring. Oh my god!
I
If
mean, if
only
you
I
want
could.
to do it like shit, yeah.
Oh my god! And we haven't done like a big event since, because we're all still like so traumatized from
How long
this.
ago was this?
Um, I was pretty recently divorced, so that was 5 or 6 years ago now.
Oh,
Y- Yeah, but just our community, we tend to, like I said, do things at conventions. We'll do a fashion show every year. We do a couple panels to get people introduced and interested in Lolita fashion,
sure.
but it is very seldom that we do any larger event other than a few like close people in the community, because the shame,
Shame.
the shame, the fear, the disaster.
What was the name of it? It's been 6 years, and she lives in Georgia now.
Allegedly. Okay, she might be back. I don't know. Don't come for me, folks, frilly folks. But it was called Cakes and Couture.
Cakes and couture and Nazis.
That should be the episode title.
I don't know if I can use Nazi on Apple Podcasts. I mean, we said it 3 times now. It's not like it's like the other N word. Like I don't know. So I feel like I've pushed barriers, but I don't know if I could actually use it in the title.
I absolutely would not.
No.
No, God, no. People are going to
Mm-mm.
get the wrong impression about Lolitas, as if
Yeah,
they didn't
right.
already. uh,
Oh
but
God. Well,
yeah,
that's too bad.
that's a way
Well,
to
I
put
mean,
it.
it's just it sounds to me like one, obviously very poor planning on her part. I mean, that just goes
Absolutely.
without saying. But
Hmm.
it sounds like she didn't get access to enough venue to accommodate what they wanted to do.
I wouldn't
Like
even say.
you could have had like your vendors room and then just had like a massive like meetup party. It didn't have to be like I mean you could do like panels and like like you could have had part of the vendors room be like the special guests and stuff, and maybe if
Mhm,
you were able to get like one more room with the special guests, do like a couple of panels with them throughout the day.
mhm.
But it sounds to me like you guys would have been like content with just like a vendors room and a few panels and like one big like tea party.
See, that was like kind of the idea, but oh, girl, she was too big for her britches. This
Mm.
was it just was not executed well, especially not for the amount that people were charged. I just feel so bad.
Oh yeah.
And like for example, twice a year there is what's called International Lolita Day. So it's
Uh-huh.
once in the summer and once in the winter.
Sure.
And so for the winter one, I know there is a small thing that people are looking to put together, not nearly as large and advertised, but it's set to be like a tea party. There's going to be, I guess, a raffle. There's going to be like a swap meet, and that's about it.
Uh-huh.
Contained. Um, Not crazy. Like I said, I just feel like it was too big for what could have actually been feasible.
Right. So is Lolita big down in Florida? Because I don't feel like it's as big up here anymore. I don't see it as often.
When I first got into it, it was back when I was back home, and I never really got into the community or anything because I was in college and I was also working, and my focus was more on cosplay. And I started to get into it more when I had moved down south, and the designer who was the special guest, she had put out a beautiful dress, and I was like, I need to have it, and that was kind of how I got my start. And I lived on the coast at that point, in North Carolina, and all of the Lolitas were like in Raleigh, so I was like,
Yeah.
I'll just drive. It's only 2 hours. Nightmare. Um, So I started down there and it had a slightly bigger community. And I was like, okay, cool. There's a lot of talk amongst people from this state and South Carolina and Georgia, and a lot of people gather together. So I was like, all right, this is actually like a community. And then when I got to Florida, uh, I don't even know how I stumbled into it, honestly. It just kind of was like, I'm here. Um, and the community used to be a good deal bigger, but people come and go. Things haven't been as active, so it's mainly just like a core group in like the Orlando area and a core group in the Tampa area, and we'll
Hmm.
intermingle when we can. But yeah, I mean, it's popular. I mean, it it varies. It's very interesting though because Florida is so damn hot, and it gets so uncomfortable being in all that petticoat. But Florida Lolitas are resilient, so we make it
Yeah.
work.
Yeah. People in Florida are like weird. They can't. Well, I mean, like they're weird,
Yes.
but and not to be mean, just it's weird
I'm not from
because
here. It's fine.
I'm not from here. I can say it. You guys are weird. Well, I mean, think about it. Like all the different events and stuff that happen, like
Mhm,
down there, especially like working for one of the parks or something. Like
mhm,
people just rattle around in like those big costumes all day in the parks and stuff. And
mhm.
yeah, they have like specific fabrics they use so people don't suffocate to death, but it's still like a lot to be wearing.
Oh my
And
god.
they just do it, and it's crazy to me because I wear a sweater when it's just a little bit too warm up here, and I hate myself. So
Right? When I worked actually physically in the park, your uniform is called your costume,
yep.
and I was in like a very like a breezy. I was in one of the lighter, breezier ones, and I was still like dripping in sweat every day, and I was like, God, I hate this, and I want to die. But now I'm at home in PJs for work every day, so it's pretty cool. But
There you go.
yeah, for like
Still a
the
costume.
exactly. So the people who hang out with our fuzzy friends and all of our princess friends and all of that, they wear a lot for the weather. And that's why you only see them for short amounts of time before they go take a break and visit their furry friends or whatever princesses do on their time off.
Oh
Uh
yeah,
I could
like
never.
what my friend Krista works in the costume department down
Hmm.
at Disney.
Hmm.
And when I was down there back in May a few years ago, it's every half hour depending on the costume. Like they have to switch out so people don't suffocate.
Yeah. It it's awful. It's
Like
Florida
every
though.
half hour. Ugh.
Yeah.
But
Like,
also, but the thing is, like they're gone and then they come right back. It's because they've got like two other people, like that are friends with the character that are ready to go.
mhm.
You
The
know,
common
to
thing is there's only one Mickey. Only one Mickey. Yep.
yep,
Only one Cinderella.
mm-hmm,
But
100%.
I like my parents came down in December, I think. No, not December. Jesus. May, the end of May, because we were supposed to go on a cruise on our newest ship, and it got canceled because the ship wasn't ready. Super fun. Um, but so they came down, and we were gonna do a day at Epcot because I was like, this is the only park I can get a reservation for right now, so this is fine. And I was like, I'm just gonna wear some pretty casual Lolita, like pretty much just the dress and a petticoat, and just go about my day. And I got like heat sickness or something, and I almost fainted. And my mom was like, "That's what you get for wearing that frilly dress." And I was like, "It's really not because it's very light. Florida is just awful." Yeah,
Oh. So yeah.
that's the horror story.
My god. That's pretty bad. Yeah, like again, it all comes down to just people not being organized and being
Mhm.
prepared in their lives, and if you're going to take on something like that, you just need to like have it all locked in.
You need to know what you're doing,
Yeah,
honestly. And
like
she did not.
no, just be prepared, guys. That's it.
Yeah,
Have
we
the
don't
right
do that.
sponsors and be prepared.
We don't do that in Florida. It's fly by the seat of your pants or die.
Now I'm trying to figure out how she got the money to fly people internationally over for this event.
Girl, I do not even know. Like maybe that's what she used the ticket prices for, but it's like so all the money went towards flying people in and then none of it went to anything else.
I guess so, because God.
I don't even know, man. I would love to see like the record sheet for that.
Well, I mean,
Also
was there
like,
a lot of people there?
oh yeah, there was a ton of people.
Okay, then yeah, I mean that would make sense. I'm trying to think like how many people, like try math in my head. I'm like, let's see, let's do quick math. Well, we figure an international flight both ways is what, like $1,000 on the minimum these days, and this is
Mm,
still like 6 years ago.
yeah.
So let's see,
Are you
divided
actually
by
doing the math right now?
yeah. So
Like
yeah, I mean yeah, for $1,000 flight, you'd only need money from 16, 17 people.
only, you know.
Yeah, and there's
Gosh,
more than 17 people there, right?
there definitely was.
Well, there we go. And how many guests were there?
Um, so I know the international designer came and she brought her mother, super
Uh huh.
cute.
Nice. That's
So
two.
that's two. There were two from a German company, one from a Swiss company, and then one from Canada.
So we're going to times 17 by 6. 102 people paid for flights, roughly. So I'll say it's $1,000 for each person. We'll just say just to make it even.
Roughly,
But so
yeah.
you guys had at least 102 people go.
See, I don't know, maybe,
That's what
but
I'm saying. I'm like, I don't.
like I said, there was also like there was a VIP type of ticket too, which cost more. I don't know what they got
For
for VIP.
what?
Better seating for the fashion show.
You
So
get
like
a whole devil dog.
no, that's another thing. There was champagne. There was champagne and there was a table with the that you got to be sat with the special guests,
Ooh.
even though they were mingling with everybody amongst the actual thing. So it's
All
like
right, so you got a $6 bottle of Andre and a whole devil dog and a seat at the VIP table. Worth it.
for
Sign me
probably
up.
for like probably $30 more
Oh
or
my god.
I that's my rough estimation. I don't actually know.
Oh my
I'm gonna have to
god.
ask some people, but yeah,
That's terrible. God.
we
You know
love
what?
it.
That's just that's the experience that I want every time I go to a convention. You get me a bottle of Andre and you get me someone to sit with.
And a
And a
whole
devil
devil
dog. And a devil dog.
next time I come home, I'm gonna find you. I'm gonna be like, I have a special delivery for the MC of the
Yes.
masquerade.
Yeah.
It's just gonna be that, and they're gonna be like, "What?"
What? I want my $6 bottle of champagne and my devil dog. Don't at me.
Ah, yes, I was expecting this. Wonderful.
Ah, yes, good. Just on time. Perfect.
Let's get wasted on $6 champagne before I go MC this. Woo!
Woo! Is there anything you'd like to promote? Any Lolita events or anything coming up in your area that you'd like to promote while you're here?
Nothing I can think of in terms of events. Like I said, our local one coming up in December is just kind of like a local community thing. Um, but shout out to some brands, I guess. I really love Puvithel. She does like kind of alternate, darker fashion, not necessarily Lolita, but some stuff that's Lolita adjacent.
Sure.
Um, the designer that I really like is Hey Newly. She's from Korea. Um, she is currently kind of on a hiatus right now, but she does plus size stuff. She's got a Kickstarter coming out soon for a print series that's going to be based on Winnie the Pooh. Um,
Oh,
the original, like the illustration, not the one with the red shirt like you see in the parks.
right.
Um, it's super cute. Plus size friendly. Love it. Um, yeah, I'm sure there's others that are escaping my mind right now. But if you want to join your local Lolita community, Facebook search, Google search. d- That's how I found it, I'm pretty sure. So people can be
Awesome.
nasty, but it's worth it.
There you go. Just don't go to any of the conventions run by this weirdo.
Fair.
Courtney, thanks so much for coming on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me, babe.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And guys, if you'd also like to be on the show, you can always drop us a line. I'm sure if you've got a horror story, much like this one, you can always get a hold of us, and you could be the next guest on the show. Also, I have a book out. It's called "That Could Have Gone Worse: Life Lessons from a Dinosaur Cosplayer." That is available on Amazon in Kindle and paperback form. Please go and purchase a copy if you have not already. $1 from each book goes to several charities. Um, and so yeah, we're helping out good causes, and you get to read a book about,
Me.
cosplay crap. And that's it. Thanks guys for tuning in, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.